You're going to get it one of these days. So thanks for tuning in. We are talking about profit first. Now this might be a mindset shift for you guys. You might need to kind of think outside the box a little bit. But what if 4 years ago when I started as a personal trainer, 4 years ago January, with my very first client, what if I had thought about profit first? Yeah, like light bulbs should be going off just a little bit. So if the light bulbs aren't going off, then message me. Speaking of that, can you all hear me? Go ahead, comment below. 1, if you can hear me. 2, if you can't. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. We're talking about profit first. And if I rewind my career to 4 years ago and switch my mindset to a profit first mindset, hey, thanks, Dana. Appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. If I switched my mindset to profit first and established the principles of this book to my personal training business, where would I be now? Well, that's definitely one question to ask ourselves. Where would we be 4 years after we made a decision in our business to go the right way, to go the right direction, and think about profit first? Well, 4 years later, I might be sitting pretty. I might be sitting on a mountain of profit in an untouched bank account. Well, that's not what I chose to do. So 4 years later, I'm still a studio owner. I operate a private fitness facility here in Denver, Colorado with yoga, small group training, and one-on-one plus nutrition consultation. We arrived at this place no matter what I chose, whether I chose to use profit first or whether I chose to go this other route of revenue minus expenses equals profit. Well, let's switch that around and say revenue minus profit equals expenses. And that's the main principle that I want you guys to grasp when you first dive into this book. It's called Profit First. Just finished it up in the last week or so. Truly enjoyed it. This is not a book review, but this is talking about how to apply that revenue minus profit equals expenses as a personal trainer. And you may be a personal trainer that's at a corporate gym like 24 Hour Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, anywhere else that you could be a personal trainer where they've hired you to be their employee. And if you've ever thought about going out on your own, becoming a self-employed personal trainer, then this message is for you. And why I say that is because the mindset that you need to become a self-employed personal trainer or to go out on your own is different than somebody who's going to work in a corporate facility like that for long term. And if I can suggest to you right now, if you've contemplated becoming a self-employed personal trainer, head on over to Audible, download Profit First, because it will change the way that you look at your future business. It could change everything for you if you start with this mindset versus finish with this mindset. Now, what do I mean by revenue minus profit equals expenses? Well, let's use round numbers. If revenue in 1 month is $10,000 and I want my business to profit 5%, then I immediately calculate all my revenue for that month, or in a biweekly, we'll talk about that later. Calculate that 5% and put it into a bank account that I won't touch. It's called a non-temptation bank account. And that's where your discipline comes in. And that's for the foreseeable future. 4 years ago, had I done that? Now fast forward to 4 years currently. Wow, boom, mind blown. It's a long-term vision, but take that $10,000 in revenue minus the 5%, $500 in a bank account that you don't touch. Then owner pay. You know, we've got to pay ourselves next as owners, so that's our next step. That's step number 2. Hi, Amy. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. When do you... we'll catch up. We'll talk about what you got going on in your world here very, very soon. Connect with Amy If you've ever heard of Rodan Fields, check her out. She's the person to speak to. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, Amy. Appreciate you. What were we talking about? We were talking about, hi, Amy. We were talking about revenue minus profit minus owner pay. So we have to have a standard of living, right? So if we take an additional 30%, I'm just using round numbers here. This doesn't necessarily have to apply to your current situation, but it could potentially apply to what we're talking about as personal trainers and how to run your business to be profitable every single month. Revenue minus profit minus owner pay. So that's what, $3,000 a month? That's pretty good pay for just starting out as a personal trainer. But you may not have that $10,000 in revenue right away. That's something to work towards. But the percentages, they all work for whatever size business you want to run. Does that make sense? Hey, Megan, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Michael. Love seeing your questions popping up on Facebook recently about what if this, what if that. Gotta love it. Appreciate all the interaction that you've had recently, Michael. If you see me, Megan, hey, thank you so much for this suggestion, Megan, to read this book. I don't think I listened to you, but I should have. And it took a second person recommending Profit First to me in order for me to pick it up off of Audible. And the reason I choose Audible is because I'm a busy business owner. Busy business owner, and I don't have time to sit down and read a book. But what I do have time during my commute is to listen to Audible. And that's what I recommend for you as a busy business owner. So Megan says, I've been running the Profit First model for about a year, and it's amazing. And she's absolutely right. Pick up the book, download it on Audible, get the hardback, get the paperback, and you will see a difference in your business today and tomorrow. So we were talking about revenue minus profit minus owner pay. We got to take care of ourselves. I've listened to Grant Cardone quite a bit recently too, and he says, yes, definitely pay yourself first. And that's a habit that as small business owners, we need to instill in ourselves. And this Profit First book allows us, next book to listen to is The Pumpkin Plan. Same author, absolutely, The Pumpkin Plan. Amy, I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about the book as well. Pumpkin Plan is a great idea as well for business owners. It's something that Mike Michalowicz talks about in Profit First. So he'll go over it just a little bit, and he'll definitely tell you why you need to pick that one up too. So thanks, Megan. Appreciate it. Revenue minus profit minus owner's expense, and then minus taxes, because you got to pay Uncle Sam. And then that number that's left over, there's a couple other things in there too that you want to focus on, but they're smaller percentages. That number that's left over, that's your expenses. That's your operating budget every single month. But you got to get more specific than that. So if you want the more specifics as a personal trainer, reach out. I'd be happy to connect with you guys on that one topic of what those last few percentages are, because they're very important to us. But what's left over is operating expense. And if that number isn't higher than your current expenses, then you got to start dumping expenses. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do in the next week, I'm going to do the instant assessment on my business, and then we're going to follow up next, well, not our next snow day because we can't predict that, but that's why we're here, is because we all got a little extra time on our hands. You know, I don't recommend going out in today's weather. So we got a little extra time on our hands. I'm going to do the instant assessment of my business, and I'm going to come up with some numbers. That way I can help coach other people on how to make their business profit first philosophy, and in practice, how we can apply it to our businesses as personal trainers. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you want a follow-up conversation with me, head on over to daveglaser.com. My entire schedule is available online. Come by the studio. I'll give you a tour personally. Thank you so very much, and I'll check in with you guys next week as a follow-up.